in the armed forces.
Hi there! We've been looking at how the armed forces are an important part of London life. Today I'm at Chatham Docks, which should give you a clue about what we're checking out. Docks means ships, and you have ships in, you've got it, the Royal Navy. For around 400 years, ships were built and repaired here at Chatham, helping the Navy to keep our country safe and secure from overseas invaders. And like the line in this patriotic song, Britannia certainly has ruled the waves over a long time. But why do we need to rule the waves? Why is a navy important anyway? Well, it helps to think about the kind of country Britain is. Britain is an island. We are surrounded by water. And before the invention of the plane or the building of the Channel Tunnel, the only way to and from mainland Europe, or even further afield, was by boat. Everything had to come by sea, and most still does today. Just think about those giant container ships and oil tankers. And for as long as there have been boats, London's been hugely important to this trade because of the River Thames. Cutting from the sea right into the heart of London, from Roman days through the Middle Ages and into Victorian times, the Thames was one of London's main highways. Barges and riverboats brought fish, wood and wool to the city, while hundreds of watermen in small rowing boats ferried people up and down. Sometimes those coming to London by sea didn't want to trade with us, they wanted to invade us! From the Romans to the Vikings, Spanish to the Germans, there have been many people who have had their eye on us. Probably the best known invaders were the Romans nearly 2,000 years ago and the Normans in 1066. To make sure we would never be invaded again, over the centuries monarchs have strengthened their fleets, but as people travelled the world farther than ever before, they needed more boats and more powerful fleets to protect our shores and our trade wherever it was across the world. It was King Henry VIII in the 16th century who decided to make a permanent fleet to secure our country. He commissioned docks to build and repair the ships, setting the foundations here at Chatham, and so our navy was born. For around 400 years, the Royal Navy was the largest in the world, making Britain a superpower across the world. Today, it's still one of the largest navies in the world, with 98 ships. The surface fleet forms the backbone of the navy, with mine hunters, frigates, destroyers and assault ships. The submarine service silently patrols the oceans and is responsible for our nuclear deterrent. Fleet Air Arm is the navy's aviation branch, extending its reach using helicopters from ships and bases. The Royal Fleet Auxiliary is a civilian manned flotilla that provides the Navy with logistic support to help maintain operations worldwide. And not forgetting the Royal Marines. The Royal Marines are some of the most highly trained soldiers in the armed forces, undergoing the longest training under the most arduous conditions. For their final test, they must complete one of the toughest endurance courses. They must work their way through 2 miles of tunnels, pools, streams, bogs and woods, then run 4 miles back to camp, all while in combat equipment and carrying a weapon, all in less than 72 minutes. That's only just over an hour. I'm not sure I want to do that. And then, at the end, they have to get 6 out of 10 shots on target in a shooting test. All the ships in the Royal Navy are called Her Majesty's ships, or HMS for short, because by constitution, the Queen owns them and has command over them. The Royal Navy operates out of 3 main naval bases: Portsmouth, Devonport and Faslane. From here, ships are deployed, that means sent on military missions, across the world, from the sea surrounding the UK to the Southern Ocean, sending a powerful message that Britain is committed to world affairs. In the seas around the UK, the Navy's offshore patrol ships protect fishing grounds and carry out anti-pollution, search and rescue and maritime policing duties. The Navy also has hydrographic ships that carry out vital surveying of the seas, keeping the charts of the seas around the UK and the world up to date. In the Navy, you could be away anywhere in the world, but it's easy to keep in contact with family and friends. Everyone at sea gets 20 minutes of free satellite calls a week, and there's email access generally wherever you are. Friends and family can also send letters and parcels when you're at sea. There's so much that the Royal Navy does, why not visit one of the National Museum of the Royal Navy's 6 museums to find out about the Royal Navy operating on the sea, under the sea, on land and in the air. Find out more about life in the armed forces at funkidslive.com/armed forces. Catch you next time.
Life in the Armed Forces.